Hey, I just wanted to take a few minutes today and chat about something that's been on my mind a lot lately. If you follow me on other social media channels, whatnot, probably see me post about it on like Instagram. Wrote a blog post about it, but I just wanted to, do a video here and expand on some of the thoughts. But basically, been thinking a lot about kind of the growth mindset that people talk so much about. And kind of this fear that I have that I've seen and sometimes experience as well, that rather than a growth mindset, we're really putting like a growth pressure on ourselves. That instead of this mindset being something that is helpful for us to learn and to grow and to make sustained progress to better ourselves and careers, that it's almost becoming a detriment to us, that the pressure actually ends up hindering us rather than helping us. Basically, I fear that the desire to grow and to learn has morphed into more of a pressure to think that we have to be better than we are. Sometimes I think that rather than our thinking being like, oh, this is really interesting, I'd love to hear more about this, that the thinking becomes, I have to learn this thing because it just came out. And if I don't learn it, I'll fall behind. I won't be able to get a job. I won't be able to contribute or build products effectively. It's a little bit of this like scarcity thinking that you just always have to be on the cutting edge, because if you're not, somebody else will, and you won't be able to, like I said, get a job, make a living, work on cool projects, build cool products, all of these things that we want to do. I think this manifests it sometimes when we start getting too worked up over what is the best tool? What is the right library for this? Should I be using X or Y? Oh, a new big company came out with this exciting library XYZ. What pattern should I be using? All of this stuff is constantly changing, and sometimes we think that just because a new thing has come out that we need to abandon the old one. If a new solution comes out for writing our view logic code, we suddenly start to wonder, oh, do I need to throw away everything that I've already done? If some new platform is coming online, sometimes we can think, oh, I need to jump ship onto this new thing so that I am on the cutting edge and I can find a job a year from now. We often get so caught up thinking about the best combinations of tools, libraries, patterns, approaches, that I've seen people just not even start the project. They get so caught up in just asking all of these questions that they never get around to actually building things. And I think that's too bad. And why is this the case? I don't know. But I think it could be a combination of things. I think it could be a little bit that we, in kind of the software industry in general, have prioritized these basically trivia interview questions that ask you hyper specific questions about computer science theory, or like a very, very specific tool or approach that are maybe not as relevant as people like to think that they are. I think that that can lead to people thinking that they just always have to know everything, so that if they are in that interview situation, they can perform well and get a job, which is totally understandable. I think another contributing factor is just social media and the day and age we live in, where we're always trying to consume more and more. Everybody, myself included, is posting about the new cool stuff they're doing, the events that they're attending, writing blog posts, doing videos like this. And so I think that can also sort of create this mindset where it feels like we're always missing out, because when all we see is everybody else always doing stuff, we don't get to see that those people then go on to take a break, or that, they aren't doing stuff every week. But then the collective, it sometimes feels like we need to be doing stuff every day, every week, every month. Another interesting thing that I've seen a little bit of is that, where it's becoming a little bit more accepted to come into tech from more of an alternative background, or maybe you don't have the traditional computer science or computer engineering degree. And if you are entering the job market without that degree, and maybe you've done a number of projects, but you suddenly find yourself up against people with these degrees, the default thinking is to think, I don't stack up. I'm not going to be able to get this job because I don't have the degree and the education that they have. And I think this is unfortunate because a degree doesn't necessarily mean that you can write software. But I do think that that's part of what contributes to this idea that I have to always be learning because I need to make up for any gaps in my knowledge, anything I didn't learn at university, or I just jumped into this new field. So now I have to catch up on 8 years worth of, blog posts and videos to try and get up to speed. And just again, all of that I think is not necessarily as serious as sometimes we make it out to be in our head. Wanting to know what the right tool is for the job, wanting to know, what patterns we can use in what situations, wanting to know what platforms are up and coming or where maybe we want to go next in our careers. All of these things are great, and we do want to stay up to date, especially if we are problem solvers. We just have a natural curiosity. But I think it becomes unhealthy when it starts to become a stressor, when we start to almost shame ourselves for not spending all of our time working on the stuff, not spending all of our time on a side project, not spending all of our time writing blog posts, going to conferences, doing code labs, doing tutorials. The bottom line is it's really hard to stay up to date on everything in the software field these days. It's never ending. It's always changing on a week-to-week basis, a day-to-day basis. There's just no way to always be on the forefront and up to date on everything in your field. At least I don't think so. And honestly, I don't think it's that important to either. The opinion of one person doesn't mean that that opinion is right or that it's right in all situations. The new tool from some big company that you know and respect doesn't mean that that tool is going to actually solve any problems for you. Or if it does solve problems, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to immediately implement that solution. The latest and greatest pattern might solve all the problems in the world for some types of projects. Doesn't mean that it's going to help your project. Doesn't mean that you're going to have the bandwidth to prioritize it in this given sprint or even in this year. So yes, we want to build, we want to learn, we want to adapt and grow. But also, I think it just helps to keep in mind that, we have timelines to worry about. There's only so many hours in the day. We want to balance our work and our personal lives. And a lot of times the rate of change on all these tools is happening much, much faster than we just have the bandwidth to account for. And so if you're in this for the long haul, like I think many people are, or at least they are when they come into the field and they would like to be in it for the long haul, then I think that it's important to play the long game. Think about things slowly. Recognize that if you can't incorporate something immediately today, if you can't start taking advantage of that new tool, you might not necessarily need to do it today or next week or next month. You can probably afford to take your time learning these new things. As long as you're making kind of sustained progress, not necessarily even every day or every week, but generally, if you are pushing yourself to grow and to learn and to explore new things, then you're going to be just fine. You don't have to do it all the time. So I would encourage you to cut yourself some slack, take a break once in a while, rest when you need to, and most importantly, have fun. Remind yourself of whatever it was that got you into technology and software to begin with. Try and bring more of that into your life, and just remember that you can't do it all and you can't know it all, and that that's okay.